Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wondered who'd really win in a, no-holds-barred cosmic showdown?
Oh, yeah.
Today, we're throwing two absolute titans into the ring. She-Ra, Princess of Power, and Wonder Woman, the Amazonian Demi-Goddess.
Exactly. And we've really gone through their histories, animated series, comics, the works.
I'm trying to dissect their origins, their powers.
And even those rare, chinks in their armor. Because they do have them sometimes.
Our mission today is to really get under the hood, understand what makes these two heroes just so incredibly capable. And we're focusing on She-Ra at her absolute peak, fully connected to the heart of Assyria, like we saw in the finale of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Yeah, that ultimate form. And for Wonder Woman, we're kind of building a composite of her most powerful moments.
Right.
Across different comic eras, Post-Crisis, New 52, Rebirth, think God Mode, The Witching Hour stuff.
Love the big power-ups.
All the peak showings, basically. These eras, they represent different takes, different power levels across her long history. It lets us really consider her absolute best.
So buckle up for a pretty intriguing exploration as we dive into the very essence of their powers.
Let's do it.
Let's kick things off with the champion of Etheria, She-Ra. Okay, let's unpack this. Her start in life is pretty unusual.
Definitely not typical. Adora's story, it begins with her as the first one, right? But raised by the Horde.
Completely indoctrinated.
Totally. No idea about her real identity.
Yeah.
And that shapes her, initially, until she rebels and discovers her heritage, her destiny on Etheria. Big reveal.
And that dual heritage being a first one, but also having this deep, deep connection to Etheria, that seems like the core of her power, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That duality is, it's key. But the initial spark, the thing that first turns her into She-Ra.
Yeah.
That's the sword of protection.
Iconic sword. But it feels like more than just a weapon. Yeah. Symbolic.
It really is. The sword of protection, its first one's tech, super advanced.
Yeah.
But it channels Etheria's magic. Like the raw, wild magic of the planet. It's the key that unlocks Adora's potential, transforms her. And what's really cool is how the sword kind of mirrors Adora's own journey,
How so?
Well, her breaking free from the Horde, finding herself, and even her connection with Catra, her love for Catra, it all seems tied up with that sword.
Right. And then later, season 5, she doesn't even need the physical sword to transform.
Exactly.
That suggests the powers become something internal, right? Part of her.
That's such a critical moment. Transforming without the sword. It means her She-Ra connection isn't just about the tech anymore. It points to something deeper. That intrinsic link to Etheria's magic, which is, the real source of her power. Predates the sword. Predates the first ones, even.
Right. Etheria itself, it's not just background scenery. It's like an active participant.
Precisely. Etheria is shown as this planet just bursting with innate, powerful magic. Like really ancient spacefaring species knew about it.
Wow.
And She-Ra has this symbiotic bond with the planet. She's its protector, its champion.
And in return,
Etheria basically fuels her. Her life force, her strength, her magic. She is Etheria's ultimate weapon.
so it's a genuine partnership. That connection powers everything, making her this ultimate defense. Key takeaway here seems to be, She-Ra's power is fundamentally part of her planet's life force. A unique guardian, immense power, both destructive and restorative.
Couldn't put it better myself. Adora's journey to ultimate power, it's not just about finding a magic sword. It's about forging this unbreakable bond with Etheria's magic itself. A destiny way beyond the Horde or even her first one origins.
Which brings us to the absolute peak, heart of Etheria She-Ra.
Yes, the grand finale power-up.
Okay, here's where it gets really wild, right? What is she actually capable of at this level?
Well, at this point, fully embracing the heart of Etheria. She's operating on a cosmic scale. The sources, they hint at power capable of, and I quote, flattening the universe or unleashing universe-ending energy.
Whoa, okay. Universe ending, that's significant.
It's huge. We're talking abilities that mess with the fundamentals of reality.
So practically speaking, what does that look like? What can she do?
Okay, so physically, massively amplified, superhuman strength, speed, durability, all cranked up to cosmic levels, enough to take on huge threats, advanced tech, no problem.
Right.
And she becomes this conduit for pure primordial energy. She can blast it out, create these immense protective fields, interact directly with cosmic energy sources.
Unbelievable power levels. And the healing, too, right? That seems like a big part of it at this stage.
Yes, that's a defining thing about Heart of Etheria She-Ra. Potent healing, life generation. She can literally bring poisoned, corrupted land back to life.
Wow.
It's restorative magic on an epic scale. Plus, she gets these magic nullification abilities. She can just erase or neutralize sophisticated techno-magic consciousness. That blend of tech and magic, sometimes sentient.
Yeah, like Horde Prime's network stuff.
Exactly, disrupting both tech and magic energies.
And she doesn't need the sword anymore. That's a big difference from Wonder Woman, who almost always has her gear.
Totally. She transcends the physical sword. She can transform, manifest a probably more powerful sword just from her own essence. Her whole being just radiates power.
But the key to unlocking all this and keeping it stable, it's her emotional connection, isn't it? Especially with Catra.
Absolutely critical. That deep bond with her friends, the princesses, and yeah, especially her love for Catra, that's the catalyst. It unlocks the power, but crucially, it stabilizes it. It lets her channel this insane energy without, accidentally blowing everything up. Love is the anchor. Gives her control.
And we see this power in action throughout the show building up. What are some of the biggest moments?
Well, even before the peak, she's consistently leading the rebellion against the Horde, who are technologically and magically superior, right?
Yeah, always punching above their weight.
Then in the final season, she goes head-to-head with Horde Prime's entire armada, shows she can face down this massive fleet, these scary robot armies, and do real damage.
And then the final confrontation. Taking down Horde Prime himself.
That's the ultimate feat, yeah. She doesn't just beat him up, she reaches into his network, his consciousness.
Disrupts the whole thing.
The whole hive mind.
Yeah.
It's this act of, profound restorative magic, cosmic energy control, but with this life-affirming impact. It's amazing.
And the fact she can control the heart of Etheria, this universe-destroying power source, even turn it off, that says a lot about her own resilience, her mastery.
Exactly. Incredible inner strength. An intuitive grasp of forces way beyond normal understanding. But even with all that power, she's not invincible. She does have vulnerabilities.
Okay, good point. Let's dig into those potential weaknesses. Where could she falter?
Well, Adora's nature, right? She's passionate, deeply emotional, and has this tendency towards self-sacrifice. Bit of a martyr complex, maybe?
Yeah, I can see that.
They can be exploited, target her emotions, her loved ones, and you could disrupt her focus, maybe even cut her off from her power.
And earlier on, she definitely relied on the sword of protection. If that got broken or messed with.
She was vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's different from Wonder Woman, whose bracelets are mainly defensive.
Good point.
So early stages, the sword was a weak point. And also, just wielding universe-altering power. That's inherently dangerous. The show constantly reminds us there's a risk, lose control, and it's catastrophic.
And that deep connection to Etheria, her greatest strength, but you said it could also be a major vulnerability.
Precisely. That tethered to Etheria. If something happened to the planet itself, if it was critically damaged, its magic nullified somehow, or if her connection got severed.
Her power could just fizzle out.
Theoretically, yeah. Diminished, maybe cut off completely.
Yeah.
And finally, those deep personal connections to Etheria's magic, her love for her friends, they form this core vulnerability. Psychological manipulation targeting those bonds. That could be devastating. Key takeaway. Huge power, yes, but Shirai's emotions and her link to Etheria are potential weak spots a smart opponent could target.
Okay, that gives us a really solid picture of She-Ra at her peak. Now let's shift gears. Wonder Woman, the Olympian demi-goddess. Her origins are soaked in mythology.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And her origin story, it's actually shifted a bit over the decades. You've got the classic post-crisis version.
Sculpted from clay.
Yeah, sculpted from clay by Hippolyta, her mother, and then brought to life by the Greek gods, each giving her a blessing, a specific power.
But then the New 52 and Rebirth eras changed that up.
They did. In those versions, she's revealed as the actual demi-goddess daughter of Zeus.
King of the gods himself.
Right, inheriting divine power directly. Both origins, though, they emphasize that fundamental divine connection. And regardless of how she came to be, she gets intense Amazonian combat training on Themyscira.
So not just power, but skill. Incredible skill.
Unparalleled martial arts, tactical thinking, strategy, the whole package.
Though she's got inherent divine might and the discipline of a master warrior. Wow, that's a formidable mix.
It really is, that fusion. Divine heritage, rigorous training. It creates this incredibly multifaceted warrior ready for pretty much anything, which leads us to her powers.
Okay, let's hear the rundown. What can Diana do?
Core divine powers, superhuman strength, easily planetary level. She can trade blows with Superman, superhuman speed and reflexes, fast enough to react to, sometimes even outpace speedsters like the Flash.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah. And then superhuman durability and a divine healing factor. She can tank massive physical hits, energy blasts, even survived nuclear explosions.
That's an incredible baseline right there. And flight, of course.
Yep, flight. Gift from Hermes, the messenger god. Gives her amazing maneuverability in the air, lets her travel huge distances. She also has enhanced senses and animal empathy, thanks to Artemis.
Goddess of the hunt. Nice touch.
Yeah, lets her perceive things others can't, communicate with animals.
And just like She-Ra, Wonder Woman has these amplified states, right, where her power goes even higher.
Yeah, totally. A big one is God mode, especially in the New 52 comics when she takes off her bracelets of submission.
The bracelets come off, the power goes up.
Way up. It unleashes her full divine power as Zeus's daughter. Huge boost in strength, speed, energy protection, enough to fight beings like Darkseid.
The dark side.
She also, for a time, became the actual goddess of war, inherited Ares' mantle and power.
Yeah.
Massive boost to her physical abilities and combat prowess.
And what was that witching hour thing you mentioned? Sounds powerful.
Oh yeah, the witching hour event. She briefly got infused with a big chunk of Hecate's cosmic magic.
Hecate, goddess of magic.
Right, gave her massive reality warping abilities, manipulating dimensions, unleashing raw magic, stuff on a cosmic scale. And finally, maybe more potential than proven, but her lineage from Zeus, her status as Olympus's champion, it suggests a possible link to the God Wave.
The God Wave, what's that?
Kind of a primordial cosmic force in DC Comics tied to the gods, but she can tap into that, potentially even greater power reserves.
So she has all this incredible inherent power, but she's also famous for her gear. Let's talk about that legendary armory.
Yeah, her equipment is just iconic and powerful. First up, the lasso of truth, or lasso of Hestia.
The golden lasso.
Forged from Gaia's golden girdle, it's unbreakable. And anyone caught in it, they have to tell the absolute truth.
That's its main thing, right? Compelling truth.
Main thing, yeah, but it does more. Dispels illusions, restores memories, protects against mental attacks, channels divine energy. She can even use it to bind super powerful enemies. It's incredibly versatile.
Wow, okay. More than just a lie detector. And the bracelets?
Bracelets of submission. Made from remnants in the Aegis, Zeus's shield. So virtually indestructible.
Their main job is defense.
Primarily, yeah. Deflecting energy blasts, magic attacks, physical blows. Super effective. But if she crosses them, bam, huge concussive force field. Or energy blast.
Defensive and offensive.
And like we said, taking them off triggers God mode.
Right. And she carries a sword, too.
Yep. The sword of Athena, usually. Divinely made, incredibly sharp, imbued with magic.
How sharp are we talking?
Sharp enough to harm really durable beings. Supposedly, it can even sever the electrons of atoms.
Cut atoms. Okay, that's effective, even against someone like Superman.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it extremely dangerous against high-tier threats.
What about her tiara? Just decoration?
Definitely not. Royal tiara. Symbol of Amazon royalty, sure. But it's razor sharp. She uses it as a projectile, like a boomerang.
Throws her tiara. Cool.
Yeah. Hits hard, pierces things, and offers some protection, too. Plus, depending on the version, she often has a shield. Amazonian or divine make, super durable. Adds another layer of defense on top of the bracelets. Key takeaway. Wonder Woman's power isn't just innate, it's massively boosted by her divine artifacts, giving her a huge range of tactical options.
So, armed to the teeth, dripping with divine power, what are some of her most mind-blowing feats? Give us the highlights.
Oh man, the list is long. Cosmic scale stuff. Physically moved planets, survive the event horizon of a black hole.
Planets, okay, that's, yeah.
More down to Earth, but still huge. Physically restrained Martian manhunter. Helped keep the moon in orbit.
Just holding the moon, casual.
Right. Shows incredible strength. And her durability. Withstood immense gravity, the energy from a near-meltdown nuclear reactor. Just shrugged it off.
Nuclear reactor.
Wow. Survived attacks from the Void Hound, this weapon that supposedly destroyed star systems.
Star system.
Yeah. And taking punches from being strong enough to shake heaven and earth. Just gets back up.
And she fights gods regularly, right? Not just supervillains.
All the time. Ares, the god of war, beaten him multiple times, tangled with other Olympians. And then there are the cosmic threats. Darkseid, Doomsday. She's always in the thick of those fights, often playing the deciding role.
Clearly operating at the absolute top tier. But, like She-Ra, she must have some weaknesses, right? Some chinks in that divine armor.
She does. Historically, a big one was vulnerability to piercing weapons. If something sharp got past her bracelets.
Like bullets or swords.
Exactly. Especially in older comics. Modern versions have kind of toughened her up, mitigated that, but it's still theoretically there. A potential vulnerability.
What about magic? She deals with gods. Magic is everywhere in her world. Is she susceptible?
She has significant resistance, yeah, because of her divine nature, her blessings. But she's not totally immune. Really powerful magic, skillfully used, say, from someone like Circe, her big magic-using enemy, that can definitely affect her.
Okay.
And there's this really old, kind of weird weakness, Aphrodite's law. If a man chained her bracelets together...
She lost her strength.
Yeah, her Amazonian super strength. But that's super archaic now. You almost never see it mentioned in modern comics.
Gotcha. Anything else?
Well, her enhanced senses could theoretically be overloaded. Extreme noise, light, whatever. Doesn't usually work, but it's possible. Maybe specific exotic toxins designed for her physiology. Again, rare.
Makes sense.
And finally, like She-Ra, her strengths can be weaknesses. Her immense compassion, her commitment to truth, her deep emotional connections.
Could be used against her?
Exactly. Sophisticated psychological manipulation targeting those core beliefs or threatening the people she cares about. That's a potential way in. Though, it's worth saying that piercing vulnerability, often it's just used as a story device, to make things dramatic, show how important the bracelets are. Key takeaway. Wonder Woman is incredibly tough, but powerful magic, maybe piercing attacks, and definitely psychological attacks targeting her compassion are her main potential weak points.
Okay, so we have detailed breakdowns for both She-Ra and Wonder Woman at their absolute peak. Now for the big comparison. How do their power sources, their overall capabilities, stack up?
Right, so She-Ra's power, peak level, it comes from that deep intrinsic magic of Etheria, boosted like crazy by the heart of Etheria. It's this fundamental symbiotic link with her universe.
A connection to everything.
Basically, Wonder Woman's power is more multifaceted, an inheritance from the Olympian gods, divine blessings, plus that intense Amazonian training, all rooted in mythology, often boosted by her gear.
So it feels like She-Ra's peak power is maybe more fundamental, reality-altering potential from one core source, while Wonder Woman's peak is this incredible synergy of different divine elements and temporary boosts.
That's a really good way to put it. A crucial distinction. Wonder Woman's baseline power is incredibly high, consistently shown, but heart of Etheria She-Ra, that hints at potentially greater raw power, maybe less controlled, but capable of fundamentally changing her universe.
And their combat approaches, their experience levels, very different paths.
Totally different. She-Ra starts as a horde soldier.
Right.
Evolves into this leader focused on protection, healing. Her experience is mostly within Etheria's galactic conflict. Big battles, inspiring troops.
More of general, maybe.
In a way, Wonder Woman, she has millennia of dedicated Amazonian training, plus lessons from gods. Countless battles against, well, everything. Street thugs, cosmic gods, monsters, aliens. Across the whole DC universe.
So Wonder Woman just has vastly more experience, broader range of opponents, threat levels.
Immensely so, yeah. So while She-Ra's ultimate power ceiling might arguably be higher, it's maybe less refined, less tested against such a diverse range of foes.
Right. Wonder Woman relies on skill, tactics, and power.
Exactly. That combo of refined skill, tactical genius, and vast experience on top of her immense power. Okay. So let's think about strategic advantages if they actually fought.
All right, let's break it down head to head. What are She-Ra's advantages?
Okay, She-Ra's biggest potential edge, probably that sheer raw power output, the reality warping potential of the heart of Etheria.
Could just overwhelm Diana.
Theoretically, yeah. A fundamental force that might just be too much even for Wonder Woman's durability. Plus her unique abilities. The healing, restoration, disrupting tech magic stuff, that's different.
True.
And maybe an element of unpredictability. She's relatively new to wielding that level of cosmic power. An opponent might not know what to expect from Etherian magic.
Okay, makes sense. And She-Ra's disadvantages in this fight?
The big one is definitely combat experience. Compared to Diana's millennia, it's just less varied, less refined against top-tier threats.
Right.
Her strong emotions, those bonds, could be a target for manipulation. And just controlling that universe-altering power, huge risk. Potential instability if her focus slips.
Okay, now flip it. What are Wonder Woman's advantages?
Combat skill, hands down. Millennia of training, countless battles. Master tactician, master warrior. That experience is a massive edge.
Skill beats raw power sometimes.
Often, yeah. Plus her gear, that divine arsenal, the lasso, bracelets, sword. So many tactical options. Offense, defense, subduing opponents.
Very versatile toolkit.
And she has a longer, more consistent track record of tanking, high-level attacks, physical, energy, cosmic, higher proven durability and reaction speed feats across the board.
And Wonder Woman's potential disadvantages against the She-Ra.
Well, that theoretical vulnerability to magic. She-Ra's power is pure, primordial magic from Etheria. Could that bypass Diana's usual resistances? Maybe.
An unknown factor.
Exactly. And the fact some of her peak powers, God Mode, Witching Hour, are temporary states. Maybe they have limits, drawbacks in a long fight. That could matter.
Okay, this really sets the stage for an epic clash. Let's picture it. The hypothetical confrontation. Both at absolute peak, neutral ground, uninhabited planet maybe. Both know how powerful the other is. Divine might versus cosmic magic. What happens?
Ooh, okay. Wonder Woman probably starts fast, uses her speed, agility, refined skill, precise attacks with the sword, maybe tries to use the lasso early.
Yes, the waters, find an opening.
Exactly. She-Ra might respond with more raw power, big energy blasts, defensive shields. Less refined, maybe, but immense power projection.
So the core conflict is She-Ra's potentially overwhelming cosmic energy versus Wonder Woman's resilience, strategy, and experience against exactly these kinds of threats.
That sounds right. Can Wonder Woman withstand or deflect that level of energy? Can She-Ra land a decisive blow before Wonder Woman outmaneuvers her?
And the lasso of truth, that feels huge here. How does that interact with She-Ra's power, her emotions?
Massive potential impact. Could it disrupt She-Ra's focus by forcing her to confront difficult truths, emotional weak points? Maybe even destabilize her connection to the heart of Etheria. It's a powerful psychological weapon, too.
Right, and Wonder Woman's bracelets against She-Ra's energy.
Crucial defense for Diana. Absorbing, redirecting. But is there a limit? Can She-Ra's primordial magic just overwhelm them? Or bypass them somehow? That's a key question.
So it becomes this intense strategic game, exploiting the opponent's fundamental nature. How would they each try to win?
Wonder Woman might try to target She-Ra's emotions, like we said. Exploit her compassion, her bonds, create difficult choices, use psychological tactics, maybe even try to somehow disrupt the Etheria connection, though that seems hard.
A mental game as much as a physical one.
Could be. She-Ra, on the other hand. Her best bet might be just sheer, overwhelming power. Unleash energy on a scale that simply breaks through Diana's defenses. Or maybe try to exploit that potential magic vulnerability, focus her attacks there.
And the lasso, Wonder Woman could use it to throw She-Ra off balance emotionally?
Definitely. Forced confrontations with past trauma, her feelings for Catra, could be a major disruption. And the bracelets, Diana might use them offensively too, right? Absorb She-Ra's energy, then blast it back.
Okay, this sounds like a fight that could shatter worlds. What's the path to victory for each of them? How does it end?
It would be catastrophic, yeah. Potentially reality bending. Wonder Woman's win condition likely involves strategy skill, using her experience, her weapons, to find an opening in She-Ra's control. Feints, dodges, targeted strikes with the atom-splitting sword, clever use of the lasso. Outthinking, outfighting.
A tactical victory.
Probably. She-Ra's win condition, more likely brute force, in a way. Unleashing the full, raw power of the heart of Etheria, overwhelming Diana's defenses before she can be subdued or outmaneuvered. A victory through sheer cosmic might.
And that sword against She-Ra's energy form. Big unknown.
Huge unknown. Can it even affect her in that state? And the lasso, again, could be the deciding factor in subduing or disrupting She-Ra.
So, after this incredibly deep dive, the final verdict. What's our reasoned speculation? Who takes it?
Okay, first, gotta stress.
Yeah.
Purely speculative, right? Hypothetical matchup.
Of course. Fun speculation.
Absolutely. We're pitting universe-altering cosmic magic against divine might, honed over millennia.
It's tough.
She-Ra's raw peak power. Theoretically, it could overwhelm Wonder Woman. The potential scale is immense, but Wonder Woman's experience, her skill, her tactical minds, her proven track record against so many different high-level threats, that gives her a massive edge in finding and exploiting any weakness, any slip in She-Ra's control.
Experience versus raw power.
In a nutshell. So who wins? It likely comes down to who exploits the other's fundamental nature first. Wonder Woman's superior skill and strategy probably give her a slight edge in finding that opening.
Yeah.
However, if She-Ra unleashes that full, untethered heart of Etheria power before Diana can neutralize or subdue her, the outcome could flip entirely.
Yeah.
It's genuinely a battle that feels like it could go either way. Too close to call with certainty?
Wow. What a matchup. This has been an absolutely fascinating deep dive into two truly incredible, powerful heroines. Let's just quickly recap the key differences, the similarities, to wrap up.
Okay. She-Ra. Power from Etheria's life magic. Peak with the heart. Universe-altering potential.
Yeah.
Vulnerabilities. Emotions. The risk of losing control. Her tether to Etheria.
Got it.
Wonder Woman. Power from Olympian gods. Amazon training. Amplified by divine gear. vulnerabilities, potentially extreme magic, maybe piercing attacks, bypassing defenses, psychological manipulation, targeting her values.
Really highlights that contrast, doesn't it? She-Ra's almost elemental connection versus Wonder Woman's blend of divine gifts and hard-won skill.
Exactly. Right. The idea that these two, being so inherently heroic and, well, compassionate, might not actually go for the knockout blow.
Precisely. Could there be another way?
So you put them side by side. What do you see? Both are incredibly powerful, courageous symbols of heroism in their own universes. That's a clear parallel the source draws.
Definitely. But their power sources are so different. She-Ra's magic tied to a living world, Wonder Woman's rooted in divine Olympian heritage.
And maybe their fighting styles, too. She-Ra is often more direct, sheer power, while Wonder Woman brings centuries of refined skill and tactical use of her gear.
Which leads back to our original thought experiment. A straight fight. We said it before, it'd be incredibly close. Epic. They're both so resilient.
But here's the twist we're exploring today. Given everything we just recapped about their character, that deep compassion, that sense of responsibility.
Would they really fight to the finish? Think about it. Both have overcome being manipulated. Both fight for justice, protect the innocent. Wouldn't they see that in each other?
It seems highly likely, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The source material paints them both as incredibly empathetic. They understand the burden of power. They might clash initially. Sure, it'd be intense.
But maybe during that clash, they recognize something familiar, a kindred spirit. Not an enemy, but another hero carrying a heavy weight.
Exactly. Could that initial confrontation sort of fizzle out or, well, transform into something else? Mutual respect, maybe?
Yeah.
A recognition of shared values?
The source gives us all the pieces for that, even if it frames the main question as verses. Their actions, their motivations throughout their stories, they scream compassion.
So instead of wondering who wins, maybe the more interesting outcome is they don't fight, or at least not lethally.
Could they see the potential for an alliance? A sisterhood, even? Recognizing that together they'd be an unbelievable force for good.
It feels really plausible based on their core characteristics highlighted in the text. Maybe the fight turns into, well, a sparring match, a way to test each other, learn from each other, but without the intent to destroy, showcasing their strength, but also their restraint.
That actually feels more in character for both of them, all that power guided by such strong moral compasses.
Precisely. The source emphasizes their heroism, and true heroism often involves finding a better way than just conflict.
So wrapping this up, while a She-Ra versus Wonder Woman battle is fun to imagine, digging into who they are based on the source suggests that alliance, or at least mutual respect, is a really strong possibility. That close call battle might just end with a handshake.
Their inherent compassion could very well lead them to see an ally, not an adversary.
Which leaves you with something to think about. Consider other stories where characters who seem like they should be enemies ended up finding common ground. What allows that to happen? What bridges that gap between conflict and cooperation? Something to chew on.